Hello, everyone. This is Will.
Oh God, this is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Oh, they mostly don't come out at night, baby.
Oh, God.
They mostly doze off at night. If you catch my
It's
drift.
like fucking Z-Quill shit right here. Like, I can't say, like, I hated this movie, but my God, I feel like just, like, taking a very long nap after watching
You know
this.
what? This is like, you're in bed late at night, and you've had a rough time. You can't sleep. You need to get your mind off things. You need to calm down a little. So what do? You go. I tell you what you do. You go on YouTube. You type in the killings at Outpost Zeta.
Now, at first you're going to think, oh, the killings of Outpost Zeta. That sounds a little intense for sleepy.
Because there's deaths, right?
For sleepy time, that sounds a little too...
You think it's a sci-fi movie
That sounds too intense, okay?
with, like, horror themes and deaths.
It has killings in the title. So, like, it has to be violent and just, it's going to be a bad time.
It's not cozy. But, no. I trust me.
You'd be wrong.
You put this movie on, and you will just cuddle up in your blankie, and you'll be fine.
You'll pretty much go right the fuck to sleep.
Because this is, like, people talk about, like, hangout movies. This is beyond that. This is just a straight-up fucking cozy, dozy, fucking hot chocolate and sleep movie. Like...
Like
I don't know.
You put on when you're like doing anything else, like a background noise movie.
It's not even that. You put this on as like ASMR because you need the sleepy time.
You just need this sci-fi beep boops and them explaining stuff over and over again.
Sci-fi beep boops and people talking very like calm and cool and collected.
Even like the laser blasters, like pew
pew pew
pew. Like
even when people are in danger, they're
like,
just like. It's very analytical.
You get all you need. You get calm talking. You get the beep boops. You get the pew pews. You get like even the monster doesn't make a threatening noise really.
Yeah, it's just kind of like.
There's nothing threatening here. It's just a cozy go to sleep movie. And although I didn't hate it, I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't put it past you if you didn't get through this movie. Okay, like. I'm not going to judge you if you
fell asleep.
You fell asleep during this movie because I almost did. And we had beer. So it's like I was already kind of sleepy. And then this movie came on and I was like, okay, all right, Will, you got this. Just stay awake. Come on, just do it. It's only an hour and a half. You could do it.
This movie and the combination of alcohol. It sapped my goddamn energy.
It'll like knock you out. Like I feel more tired than I do after like a live stream.
I feel like the bodies they found in the fucking lab in this thing. It's just sapped of life. Just nothing.
So this review will not be chronological.
I don't even know how the fuck to review this thing because
it literally we just explained it. It's just people talking about the alien. People reacting to the alien doing stupid shit. More talking about the alien and
mostly
drinking coffee.
There's lots of scenes of a woman reading a notebook.
We get 4 stupid death scenes.
Yes.
That like last like I'm not even kidding, like maybe like 2 seconds.
They're shot in a POV. You don't really see much. It's fine because you won't be annoyed by this movie, but you are gonna be dozing the fuck away.
Yeah, like it's not gonna make you angry. It's not like a dumb movie. It's just, for like a B movie, there's far too much like world building and like just over explaining the species and the planet and why the air is the way it is. And, like, am I boring you yet? Because this is all they talk about. And why the alien has survived there. And how it can reproduce asexually. But because humans went there, it had a feeding source. And then it could grow. And then it can fucking...
Rocks!
It's rock aliens that inhabit the planet. Spoiler alert.
Eggs. Hey, what came out a year before this? Well,
Oh, just a little
a
tiny,
little tiny
little
movie,
tiny indie film called
a
Alien.
little unknown film you might not have heard of called Alien
Yep.
by
No.
that little indie director Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Came out a year before this, where there's an alien, where there's like a spaceship going through space, and then there's a distress signal on a planet, and it goes on the planet, and then there's an alien, and then a man gets fucking impregnated by the alien. What happens in this movie? Oh shit, there's rock eggs in people.
Yep. But they don't burst out of the chest because they do autopsies and take the rocks out.
I don't know what they are until the very end of the movie when they blast oxygen on the eggs, because oxygen kills the rock aliens, because the rock alien does not breathe oxygen. It breathes the opposite of oxygen, which is carbon whatever. Blah, blah, because stuff.
And we get like an hour of them explaining this.
You know
We just broke it down for you, but they literally spend so much time explaining this shit.
This is someone who liked Star Trek.
Yes.
They liked the fuck was that show? There's like Space 1999 or whatever the fuck it was called. They liked all that sci-fi shit, and they definitely leaned hard on the hard analytical sci-fi, and they had a storage unit, and they wanted to make a movie that was like those things.
But here's the thing about like hard analytical sci-fi. Usually it's interesting.
Well, here's the thing. Not everyone can pull it off, right?
This is just like it's just space rocks that kill people.
Because there's lots of scenes of them talking about science and biology and autopsies and all that stuff, and it's very clinical, very analytical.
I mean, it sounds like it makes sense, but honestly,
In its own universe, it makes sense.
But honestly, I didn't care enough about anything going on to like actively pay attention.
The problem is that any like good hard sci-fi, even though there's like not a lot of action and shenanigans,
But it's engaging. There's
It's engaging.
stuff going on. Like you know, you mentioned Andromeda Strain, right? There's stuff going on in every scene.
Andromeda Strain is my go-to because that is like hard sci-fi with there's no fucking action, there's no shenanigans. It is just scientists in fucking labs researching a virus.
But it's interesting because you want to know what's going on with this virus, right?
because it's well filmed
There's like a huge mystery of why this is all
and
happening.
there's stakes.
Yeah.
Because in the movie there's a pandemic, and you always get scenes of like people dying or things going on, and you know that it's a race against time. You know all the there's little shenanigans going on that are like affecting the story. They're not over the top, but it's like you can do it, but not everyone is that director. Not everyone is the guy who made Andromeda Strain. Not everyone can make Alien.
No, and even Alien had a lot of just like them just experimenting. Like it's just a bunch of miners.
It's a bunch of space truckers in space.
Yeah, they're just poking things.
And that's all it is. And like,
But they don't have any idea, but there's tension because like there's people dying and they have no idea why and they're trying to figure it out, but they're not scientists, so they don't know what the hell is going on.
and even in Alien, when there's nothing going on, when it's just people walking around hallways and things like that, there's still tension.
But here's the thing too, like you cared about the characters in Alien.
100 motherfucking percent.
Like you cared about the characters. Like you loved Ripley, right? Because instantly already you get some like
because they're all relatable.
you get chemistry between all of them, right? Like they're all relatable. They all have lives, backstories, stuff going on. This is
Personalities.
This is just a bland team of like experts they chose.
Yeah.
To go.
You have like a fucking like you have like the security experts, right? And they're all good with guns. That's their personality. You have the engineer who's good with like techno babble.
I will admit the engineer probably has the most personality out of all of them in the film.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's very little, but
it's just like it's a team of experts, and they're all good at like their one field, and Okay, because the basic setup of this movie is that there's like a fucking outpost in space, and they need this outpost for purposes of colonization.
Well, because this is the only planet within a couple light years that actually has inhabitable, like,
You can
living conditions, because you can breathe the air.
you can build a colony on there.
Yes, because
So
you can breathe the air. So there's an outpost there. They sent a team out.
and they died.
They were there for like a year, and then they died. So they sent a crew, like a rescue crew,
And
out.
they died too.
So then they sent another rescue crew out, and they died too.
And now they're sending this last one, and it's
The
like
third rescue crew.
they need this planet, and they're sending out this like, what the fuck do they call it? It's like a Mission Red,
Yes.
which I feel like that's a reference to Star Trek and like how people in red uniforms die all the time. I mean, I feel like that would make sense. But essentially, it's like a fucking crack team of experts that they're gonna get to the bottom of this. That's the plot of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's going on this planet. We have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, look, have you seen Event Horizon? Have you seen Alien? Have you seen Aliens? Have you seen any of these fucking movies? This is fine.
Well, so just all those movies, but those movies do it way better. And they don't put you to sleep because there's actually interesting, like, things they're talking about. Like in this movie, they spend a lot of time just talking about the same thing. And I think that's like the problem I had with it. Like it's not really like aggravating.
It's
just
not offensive.
It's just boring because they're literally just over analyzing this species of rocks that's killing them.
Well, especially like near the second half. I mean, you literally after how many fucking people even come to the planet to begin with? Like what? Like
So there's 12 bodies when they get there.
well, no, how many people from the crew? Like 7.
I don't know because let's see. So if there's 12 bodies when they get there, there's 3 crews that went in.
Well, no.
The
So for
crew.
the crew in the movie,
Oh,
how
there's
many
5.
in there? 5?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
or maybe it's 7. I don't even know. I think it's 7.
Okay, because at the end we have 3. At the very end,
2.
So
at
there's
the very
2.
end.
and then there's the like weapons guy, so that's 3. Engineers 4. Biologist is 5.
And then 4 people that die.
And then the first like security guard is 6. So there's 6 people.
Okay.
So it's like they send these 6 people there, and you know they die one by one, and eventually you get to like the second half of the movie, and it's like this one of the female like doctors or whatever. What I don't even remember what her job was. Her role in the movie in the second half is she reads notes.
Yeah, that is literally like she just reads notes that the other crews left behind about what was going on with the rocks.
Now, if you've ever seen a little film called Event Horizon, there's a scene in that involving notebooks of previous people who died.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a great scene, but again, it's like one scene.
There's lots of there's still tension there. There's something like behind the scenes that you don't exactly know what's going on yet, and like
Because they tell the guy like, "Hey, look at these. I want you to look at these video logs
yes,
and see what's happening." And what we have is off screen, the guy looks through all the fucking video logs, and then he finds the one that's like terrifying. And he
Yes.
shows it to us, and we see it on screen. But we don't get scene after scene of him looking through every
imagine
single...
Event Horizon if we just saw him going through like boring ass like
Of shenanigans, of
like,
nothing
just,
happening.
just people being people and like making notes on like what they're doing.
Yeah, that's it. Like, but
That
instead...
is literally all they're doing.
But instead, because it's not made by Mongoloids, you cut all that shit out and you just have the important stuff. But in this movie, no, she just reads through notebooks.
So the nutshell version is there's a rock aliens that are killing people because they're trying to terraform the planet to breathe on it and reproduce asexually so they can take over the planet, right?
Yes.
But they take that concept and they stretch it out for an
hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Well, it's like, again, it's like a Monster of the Week Star Trek episode. Where they land on a planet.
If this was 30 minutes, it wouldn't be bad.
If it's 30 minutes with better writing, obviously.
Well, obviously, yeah,
It wouldn't
but
be bad. It'll be fine. But it's not. It's an hour and a half, and the writing is. I mean, like you said, it's not. This movie's not offensively bad. It's just. It's just so lackadaisical.
yes.
Like nothing. There's no. There's no tension
When
in
it
this
doesn't
thing.
really lead to anything either.
No, the only thing that like near the end, I'm not joking. The only thing that like lulled me out of my fucking like hypnosis is there's a scene when one of the security guys, because they hatch a plan. See, one of the things is that the rock aliens they breathe like the air on the planet,
Yes.
which humans can't breathe.
Now, I will admit it's weird because this is like the last like 15 minutes of the movie.
Literally, and they the aliens can't breathe oxygen. They breathe like whatever the fuck is on the planet. But our human oxygen is fatal to them.
Yes.
So their plan is that they're going to try to like bait these aliens to go into the spaceship and then close it on them to kill them. So they send the security guy in there.
Because he's like the only one that's gonna go and like he can control all this stuff
Well,
in the ship.
first of all, like first the captain volunteers to go, and then the security guy like, does the thing where he's like, "No, I think I should go because I'm better at this."
But he's in love with the woman for no reason.
The captain's in love with the woman.
Yeah.
Because they're both similar, because both of them don't have a home, and they love space. It's fine. It's fine. And the security guy goes in the spaceship, and we get a scene of, like, because they attach a fucking, like, GoPro to his space helmet, and they see, like, all he sees. So we get, like, scenes of him, like, in first person, zapping these turds.
It's just like floating rocks. It's just they show the rock monster sometimes, but most of the
Barely.
time it's just like off-screen blurry floating rocks.
Yeah, and it's just him in first person, pew pew, on these floating turds
And then one flies at his face.
and pressing buttons. But like that scene was like near because it's like the last 15 minutes. Like it was enough to like lull me out of my hypnosis.
Dude, I was like glazing over. Like my eyes were just like fucking like I think I almost fell asleep with my eyes open. Like I was just glazing over.
Like I'm still struggling to explain this because it's so basic. It's so basic, and it's so just cozy.
Well, I was like kind of confused because he goes into the ship, he pew pews them, and then he closes all the doors, and now he's all of a sudden outside. And then
Because like he's getting attacked.
and then he like limps back to the security thing.
So he's like getting attacked, and he gets his leg hurt. He closes all the doors, and it's like implied that he closes all the doors and it kills one of the aliens. But then he like hops out of the spaceship because near the end, I don't even know. I honestly don't fucking know.
They've set up like a perimeter where if like the rocks breach it, it sets off an alarm, and they've been watching it, and it's just scene after scene of them watching it go off.
We
And
do
everything.
get an amusing sequence though, where they're like switching off like how many like you two, because by that point they're down to 4 people from 6, and they're like, okay, you two watch for like 6 hours, and then we'll watch for 6 hours, and so on and so forth. And it's just like you get one person like they lay down and go to sleep, and then the fucking laser alarm starts going off, and then they wake up and they stare at the screen,
and then they go back to
and
sleep.
then they start lying back down, and they're lying back down, and then it goes off again. It's just rinse repeat, and then eventually it's just showing that the aliens are just trolling them over and over and over and over and over, and the engineer like has a fucking
like a tally marker thing
of how many times they do this.
So I explained that because the guy has to get back to the base, so he limps back to the engineer, the security guard limps back to the thing after getting attacked by the rocks and killing one apparently. They have to turn off the thing. He goes inside, the power goes off. But so here's the thing, and you mentioned this too. This is the very end of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're all inside this base without helmets, right?
Because the base has, I don't remember what they call it, but it's like a oxygen generator.
So it's an oxygen generator, but for some reason they still had to kill the other rocks with extra oxygen.
Yeah, because
But but
they get attacked, right? And there's like a rock monster inside the base next to all of like the fucking eggs that they pulled out of the bodies. And
so
so one of them takes
an oxygen tank.
it's like a fire hydrant, but instead it's oxygen and starts blowing it on the eggs and it kills the eggs. And then after what's the security guy dies, he blows it on him. And they kills the rock alien. But it's like if they can breathe.
But they're in an oxygen like container. Like,
Yeah, they're breathing without their helmets on.
so like why isn't the rock monster dying now?
I
Just
don't know.
pure convenience.
Yes.
Like for a movie that's this like
Clinical.
into its own science, shouldn't this be more like they're outside fighting this thing? Because
Well,
they do eventually.
I don't fucking know.
Like this movie is so full of itself scientifically that this should be explained better, because it literally spent like an hour and a half explaining how these rock things terraformed the entire planet and have been inhabiting it for the years, and we came along and kind of disturbed that and woke them up, and so it's been killing the humans and then using the humans as like breeders and stuff like that. It explains so much of this, but it doesn't explain why the rock things are able to get in the base and still be fine. That's the one thing they didn't explain. Really, the thing that we needed explained.
Because apparently it's fine.
I don't
Apparently
get it.
they needed uber oxygen to die.
Well,
And only the fucking oxygen tanks and the spaceship have the fucking uber oxygen.
and the final confrontation is like the stupidest fucking thing. It's the one time where I was just like, this is really dumb. Like most of the movie, I was just like, this is kind of boring. Like it's not bad, but the end fight scene I thought was legitimately fucking dumb.
This?
Or he just yeah. So they escape the base. Alex is waving his hands back and forth, and
Because that's what happens.
well, let me explain. So they kill that rock monster, and there's another one.
And they have to go back to the spaceship.
So they're climbing up this ladder, and like the engineer guy forgets his helmet, and he like gets sucked back down in there, and the rock monster kills him.
Yeah.
And then so they're gonna limp to the fucking ship and get back, and whatever. So
Go back home.
So the rock starts following him, and it starts attacking the guy. And so he takes out his little blaster.
Well, no, you forgot, though, that first they have because the guy in this...
Oh, you're right. They have a little...
Because they're in love.
A little heart-to-heart.
They're in love. They've kissed before because, they have a connection. And they have a little heart-to-heart where the guy says that he's gonna, like, distract the monster and try to get it to fall into the volcano. But that most likely he'll die with the monster. And then she tells him, no, you can't. And then they accept it. They have a heart-to-heart. And then your scene continues.
Yeah, so he starts leading the rock. Sorry, it's a rock. It's the stupidest alien ever. They couldn't even do anything.
We don't even get like any good shots of it, honestly.
No, it's just stupid. Like I was hoping for a guy in a suit, and we kind of get it, but
barely.
It's just floating rocks. So he lures it to this, I guess, volcano. It doesn't even look like a volcano, and the rock starts like attacking him. But I guess at the last second. Oh, and we should mention the heart-to-heart. He offers his oxygen tank to her to make it to the ship. So he starts waving.
Oh, yeah.
He starts waving his little blaster in front of it, and just like it looks so stupid because it's a POV from the monster's view, and we just see this thing waving in front of the camera. And then, in the most awkward, fucking heroic scene I've seen in quite a while, the girl comes out and just like starts spraying the camera with quote unquote oxygen, and it looks so weird because she's just spraying nothing. She's just waving a nozzle in front of the camera.
Did you mention where the guy for some reason his laser pew pew gun is like out of lasers. So
Yeah,
he
that's
like
why he's waving in front of the camera. I was mentioning he was waving in front of the camera.
yeah,
But
like just
he just like moves it back and forth in front of the camera, and then she starts blasting quote unquote air
air at it.
into the camera, and it just looks so awkward.
But then you do get a final money shot of
Of
just
a turd
falling into a volcano.
falling into a volcano, and I guess that fixed everything because the thing like seals up,
And then they walk away happily ever after.
and they like fly back into space, tell the people what's going on, and they're like, okay, well, blah blah blah, and then we get a final shot of the base on the planet, and then end movie.
I do appreciate though that right in the very beginning of the movie, when our dude, our Earth commander, is getting his fucking crack team together. At the very end of his meeting with the fucking team, he's like, "Yeah, you should probably update your last will and testaments,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll take care of the life insurance for Starfleet." They call it Starfleet in this movie. How very fucking original.
I like how it's like an A-OK symbol holding a star.
It's
Like
yeah,
that's the symbol they use for the Starfleet.
A-OK.
It's A-OK.
Holding a star. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what to say. I really
I don't know
say.
what else to say because literally I cannot stress this enough. It is literally a movie where they just talk about the anatomy of these alien rocks for like a good probably 45 minutes.
It's a 90-some minute movie, okay?
So the first 20 minutes are them assembling the team and us figuring out that there's something wrong on this planet, right? They spend 20 minutes,
Yes.
literally 20 minutes doing that, and they finally assemble the team, and then I think by like the 30 or 40 minute mark, they finally get to the planet, and then and then they spend like 30 to 40 minutes explaining what these fucking rocks are, and we sometimes get a murder scene of the rocks killing the people in weird ways, but then just continuing to explain what these rocks do and how to kill them, and then literally the last like 15 minutes are this awkward like chase scene with the guy and the ship, and then he gets back, and then the chase scene, and then the fucking rock falls in the volcano, and in movie. Like that in a nutshell, that's what the movie is, but it's a lot of just over explaining like in movie lore.
Yes.
Like it's world building, but like gone way too far.
Yeah, we get mentions of like people talk about their previous missions on like Alpha Zeta and like in movie shenanigans, but
The thing is, like, I just didn't care.
no.
Like, there was nothing like that interesting going on. I mean, and like if even like a geologist that's like super into rocks and shit, like who cares? Like these are fake floating space alien rocks, like, and they're stupid. They're they're just so dumb. Why spend so much time of your movie explaining these things if you're not even going to make them cool or like a prevalent thing in the movie? Like, because they only show up a handful of times.
You know why, Will?
Why make such a big deal out of them if they don't even show up in like a half of your movie?
Because our two big brain directors apparently didn't have enough money to make an actual movie monster, meaning they didn't have enough money to build a fucking suit for a man to wear.
Yeah, but all the
so
sets
instead we
are-
get like little 2-second snippets.
Did they just blow their budget on like sets and like
I guess.
like costumes for the characters?
I guess.
Because the sets aren't that bad for a B movie.
No, for a little tiny B movie, I mean, it doesn't. Like, you can watch it and
I mean, it looks cheap, yes, but
here's the thing. It's cheap, but you can watch it and accept the possibility that it's like an alien planet.
yes,
Like, your imagination isn't going to be like, no, this is
and a
bullshit.
base on an alien planet, because it does look reminiscent of what what I would imagine a base would look like. With
I
this
do like the
technology.
fact, though, that even in the future, they're still using paper, and they are still using thermoses and little coffee mugs.
I do love how all the logs are handwritten on paper.
Perfectly handwritten, even though, like, 1980, like, computers are a thing. They're fucking bulky and big, but computers are a thing, I assure you that. But even despite that,
Dude,
it's fucking paper.
Alien had
Alien.
computers everywhere.
Alien had computers everywhere. There's literally scenes, full fucking scenes in Alien where they are talking with a fucking AI. That's a year before this
Yes.
in Alien.
No excuse.
It's no excuse.
There's monitors in this movie. So why couldn't they have reused those monitors and put text on them?
Anything.
We didn't even have to have a scene of them flipping through the text, right?
Okay.
Just put words on a screen.
Yep. You got it.
And
You
just
fucking got
and
it.
just show her reading them, and then just we don't even like show it far enough away where we don't notice it's the same fucking words.
You are a goddamn genius, my
Why
friend.
couldn't they have done that?
I don't know, because, like, Alien is a year before this. Like, Star Trek the Motion Picture is a year before this. Like, screens and computers everywhere. It's fucking bullshit. And then you get this thing, and it's like basic bitch shit of fucking notebooks. It's fucking notebooks with fucking paper and, like, coffee. Fine, whatever. People in the future will still drink coffee. I get it. Fine. I'll accept
Coffee
it.
will never die, and I hope it never does.
I hope it doesn't. I still think it's funny, though, that there's, like, multiple scenes where they, like... I don't know why they do this, but they make it, like, a point to show the coffee. Where you get, like...
Well, they always show them pouring it out of, like, this orange thermos.
Well, it's like, you get, like, a scene of, like, the woman's, like, reading a notebook, right? And the camera is, like, just sitting on the fucking sci-fi desk. And then someone just comes along and plants a fucking mug right in front of the camera, and then they take the fucking orange thermos
And pour coffee.
and then they take the mug, and we get a fucking camera following the mug as they take sips out of it. It's like, is that the point of the movie? Coffee?
Well,
I'm surprised that there wasn't, like, a plot twist involving coffee.
That's another thing. It's like, there's no point. There's no point to anything in this movie. That's the other thing. It's just kind of like an empty thread. There's like, you're following this along and you're just like, okay, well, there has to be a point. Maybe like humans shouldn't mess with planets they don't know. Maybe like, you shouldn't send like people like in Alien where you shouldn't send these people who don't know shit about what's going on should not be messing around and poking shit that they don't know what is like happening. But all these scientists are very competent, and they over-explain everything, and they love explaining where these rocks come from. But like, it doesn't lead to anything. It leads to them spraying them with oxygen, and then the planet is still exactly the same as it was.
Yeah, they just go back and mission accomplished.
Like, that was it. And they even say, like, great job. And it's like, your entire crew died except for 2 people. You call that a success?
But Will, they killed the handful of rock monsters. And because they killed the handful of rock monsters, apparently it's mission accomplished.
But what's the point?
The point is stuff.
Like usually sci-fi has some moral
No.
thing like, it doesn't always have to have a moral thing going on, but usually has some like question you ask, like, oh, okay, like, what does this like really mean? Like, what are the characters gonna do now? What's going on? Like, like,
you joking? There's no point to this movie.
There's no point. There's zero, and I think that's the one thing that annoyed me about this movie, because it's just a boring movie. It's just I can't really be annoyed at it because it's just boring. And like, it over explains everything. I'm not really annoyed, I'm just bored with it. But it did annoy me that there was no like
message.
There's nothing here. Like, that's the thing. At the end of the day, you get to the end of the movie and there's nothing. It's just them flying back saying great job and movie's over. And it's like, okay, but what was the point of explaining all that bullshit? Like, you made me sit through all that bullshit, and you didn't give me anything at the end. Like, that's the one thing that annoyed me, is there was nothing at the end to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe it was all worth it for them.
No. Well, because the obvious thing is like, I guarantee you, the person who made this liked Star Trek.
Oh,
Because Star Trek,
it's obvious.
because Star Trek, everything in Star Trek, Star Trek was big on the fact that no matter what you were watching, there was some message. There was
Well,
something that you were supposed to get out of it. It said something about people, about humanity, about human nature. There was some deeper meaning behind the shenanigans.
even the movies had like some moral question,
Yes,
right? Like they all had some moral question. Like Wrath of Khan had moral
revenge
questions, revenge
and like human flaws.
friendship and
Yeah.
human flaws. There's a lot of shit going on.
Even though it's a movie about dudes shooting at each other in space, there is so much shit going on.
The one about whales, I mean, is very obviously an
Environment
allegory
and
for
the environment.
environmental safety and shit like that.
And even like because they go into our time, it's about our own current issues and
yes,
prejudices and all that. All this shit is in there. Or hey, it's topical because the year before this was Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which is about what does it mean to be human, and wanting to know the meaning of why you exist and all these things. And even though it's a movie about a fucking space probe,
but I mean, in sci-fi, and this is why it annoys me because in sci-fi, there's always those questions.
well,
right?
especially in hard sci-fi.
Like what's our purpose
Yeah.
in the universe? What's going on in the universe? Can we learn from this like message and stuff? And I know that's expecting a lot out of a B movie.
Well, here's the thing:
from
they are
1980.
they are going for the hard sci-fi,
But
which is where this stuff is.
that's why I'm questioning why they went so hard if there's nothing to gain from this movie. Why did they go so ham on over explaining everything if there is literally nothing you can take away from this movie except for the fact that it was insanely boring.
The only what you take away from this movie, Will, is space do be dangerous sometimes.
Well, and we already
That's
knew
the
that.
fucking message.
Have you never watched a fucking sci-fi movie? Like, yeah, so fucking space is dangerous. It's the unknown. I get it. Like, I understand that point, but like, holy shit.
That's it.
Why waste our time? What was the whole point of wasting our goddamn time over-explaining everything when it's gonna lead to absolute fucking nothing? Zero. I don't fucking understand. I'm done with this fucking movie. Shitty to pretty.
3.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna go kind of middle of the road, but I can't give it a 5. There's
No. Listen, this is not.
There's no like we always say, it's entertainment value, right?
It's entertainment
And this
value.
had like very little, but it had some.
I think. I mean, again, I didn't hate it. It didn't annoy me. It didn't offend me. It's just there's nothing. I'm not gonna care about this. Once we fucking turned it off the TV, I'm not gonna care about this thing.
No, and I would never watch it again.
I'll never watch it again, and there's just nothing for me to really care about. That's why a 3.
I think a 3 is an appropriate rating. So if you want to, it's on YouTube. If you need
The whole fucking thing is on YouTube.
if you need some good like lullabies to fucking
Because I guarantee you,
if you need
not a single fucking one of you has ever seen this fucking movie.
if you want to take a train to Z Town, just go get in your bed and put this on your laptop or
On your
on your
phone,
phone
whatever.
or something.
Because trust me, this isn't one of those movies where I'm going to be like, you need to watch this on a big TV because you need to get the cinematography on. No. You can watch it on your fucking iPod. I don't care.
You could put this on like one of those like white noise alarm clocks, and I guarantee you, someone would like enjoy going to sleep to this.
You know those phone apps,
Like
the white noise
the
apps,
calm noise apps where you can get like the rainfall
or like the street.
yeah, or like the thunder noises and shit like
This
that.
is that.
Someone should put this movie on there because I guarantee it would help someone fall asleep.
Like just the whole hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, you could just like condense this into an audio file,
And that's
and there you go. Like it's literally just people talking for an hour and a half
it's
about
people talking
scientific stuff.
with like very like and people talking in like very like calm, casual tones and casual music. It's just
And the occasional like pew pew
yeah,
and beep boop.
that's all you get. That's it.
So yeah, go ahead and go to sleep to this one.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. On to exciting news. Actually exciting. We have a live stream coming up this Sunday, December 13th. You should be there. You should be on our YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Also, like if you want to get notified, hit that bell. I know this is a big ad for our YouTube page,
You
but
will
hey,
we'll know, it'll tell you when we are live on Sunday morning.
and we would love more subscribers. We'd love to talk to you guys. We'd love to like just talk about shit movies.
Give us recommendations.
If you fell asleep to this, let us know. Like that would be awesome. Because I don't know how I made it through without falling asleep.
I don't even
I
know.
almost did. But yeah, like I don't know, like come hang out, come talk, recommend movies. That's always fun. We've had a few people recommend movies and we've watched them, and like we really thank those people that
I appreciate it.
If you reach out and like suggest something, it's likely it's gonna show up on the podcast. So
As
please,
long as it's a movie that like I don't have to fucking, scour the ends of the earth for, we'll catch it.
also like get in contact with us if you want to send us a movie you want us to watch. Like even if it's in the same year that maybe we just skipped over it, or like if it's even like an older movie that maybe we passed up, like send us a link or send us like I don't know if you want to send us a physical copy. That'd be a little weird, but if you do want to do that, we'll get to it eventually. We can do like a special episode like showcasing the movie you suggested if it's from like an older year. Like
Yeah,
when we
we've
get to
done
the-
it.
when we get to the end of a decade or something. Like there's we want a community here of people who love shit B movies, and it's gonna be
Or good B movies. I'll take
or
it.
good B movies, because we watched a few good B movies, and I'd love to talk to you guys if you've seen like Death Force or like
Prophecy.
Prophecy. Like let's talk about good B movies.
Not this.
No, well, not this shit. Yeah, just go to sleep to this one. But but yeah, I don't know. Like I always say this, but like I really want to kind of get involved with like people. So if you're listening to this right now, please, like it would mean the world to us if you went to our YouTube, subscribed, and at least watched some of our live stream and talk to us. Like that would be really cool. We don't get a lot of people that talk yet. But we're always on there, so
We are, and the live streams are permanent.
and I'll stop going on and on about it, but please please subscribe, please join us for our live stream. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we hope you guys have fun watching it. I know it's 6 hours long, so it's kind of a slog to keep through it the entire time, and I get that, but maybe just talk to us for a little bit. Go on your merry way, and then come back and maybe jump around and see what games we played, and I don't know. Anyway, sorry, hashtag ad is over. So for they mostly come out at night, this has been Will,
Oh boy. This has been Alex.
and we will talk to you all later. I'm going to sleep.